Well, that was a basketball game, if I do say so myself. I don't know what to make of this. All I can say about this game is the Miami Heat got the job done. They got the 109-103 victory here in Game 3 on the road against the Celtics. They take a 2-1 lead series against the Celtics. This game was a chaotic mess. I don't know what to say about it. All I can say is this. The Miami Heat were embarrassed in Game 2. They got beaten brutally in Game 2. So for Game 3, they came out here and set the tone. They took a 26-point lead against the Boston Celtics. After one quarter, they outscored the Celtics 39-18. They continued to keep that up in the second quarter, where it was just getting crazier and crazier for the most part. They were up by as much as 26. Then all of a sudden, Boston started to go on a little bit of a run. They went on like a 12-0 run or a 10-0 run and cut the lead to 15 heading into halftime. So Miami was dominating these guys, despite the fact that, Boston was getting a hell of a lot more free throw attempts than we were. But Miami was dominating Boston, and then Boston went on a run to end the first half. That made it a 15-point game. So it's only a 15-point lead for Miami heading into the second half. That's still doable. That's within range for the Celtics to pull off a comeback. We come out the locker room, and that's when the chaos begins. To start off with, we get the report that Jimmy Butler's suffering, he's dealing with a knee injury that's caused him to sit out for the rest of Game 2. The knee injury takes him out of this game. No Jimmy Butler for the second half. So that's immediately a cause of concern for the Miami Heat, right? Your best player is out for the second half. You have a 15-point lead, but you just lost your best player. He's out for the rest of Game 3. Now it comes down to, can we hold on to the lead? Can our guys get it done without our best player on the court? Well, Miami went on and showed you it. This game was crazy. They were going back and forth. Boston continued to slowly cut down the lead. There were moments where Miami was fighting back, but Boston continued to cut down the lead. And in between them cutting down the lead, we got a bunch of injury concerns. All of a sudden, you have Marcus Smart and Kyle Lowry going for the ball, a rebound. And they both land on the ground hard. But next thing you know, you see Marcus Smart, he's on the floor, he's holding his ankle, and he's crying out in pain. So he's really hurt. They help him to the locker room, and now it looks like the Celtics are going to play without Marcus Smart. Well, no, because he's out for a couple of plays, and then he comes back in the game and continues to play and continues to make an impact. So he was injured, left for a couple plays, and then came back and continued to play for the rest of this game. And then as we got into the game, into the fourth quarter, Miami still holding on to that lead, but Boston continues to cut it down. And at some point in the fourth quarter, all of a sudden, Tatum now goes down. You have a situation where Victor Oladipo gets the steal on Tatum, and Tatum he falls to the floor, and he's holding on his right shoulder. So he's dealing with a right shoulder injury. He gets help going into the locker room, and he's there. And it's like, oh, well, now Jason Tatum's out. Nope, that's not the case, because after a couple plays, he comes back out onto the court. So it's like, you had two injury scares, and obviously they did suffer the injuries, but it wasn't severe enough to knock them out the game. So you have two injury scares for the Celtics, but they do come back in this game, and it's a fight. This game goes haywire. It gets as close to as a 1-point game. Miami goes from a 26-point lead in the second quarter to a 1-point lead deep into the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, it looks like Boston's about to take the lead, and if they could just make that one play to take the lead, they're going to take it over. But then something happened with the Miami Heat. They made plays down the stretch. And it was all thanks to a clutch three by Max Strus. If he doesn't make that three and stops the bleeding and regains the momentum back to Miami, we might have lost this game. Who knows what would have happened. But Strus made a clutch three, pushed that lead back to 4, and Miami did not look back. That's all we have to say. Miami did not look back. They managed to close out this game, and they got the victory. So it was a chaotic game, but Miami managed to pull off the victory on the road against the Celtics with no Jimmy Butler in the second half of this game. My God, what a crazy game. When you take a look at the stats, Tonight, Bam Adebayo was the man. We've been talking about this man not being aggressive. Bam, go out there and be aggressive. Go out there and be aggressive. We want you to be aggressive, Bam. We've been screaming that at Bam. But finally, the right people got in his ears, and tonight he was aggressive. 16 points in the first half by Bam. He was aggressive. Looking for a shot, he continuously called for the ball. And we kept feeding him, and he continued to eat and eat and eat and eat. And that's what you gotta love from Bam Adebayo. That's the type of aggressiveness we need to see from Bam. We need more of that from Bam. Please continue to play like this. If we can get aggressive Bam, we're winning this series, no problem. If Bam plays like this, bro, it won't be a 7-game series. Bam plays like this, we might win this in 6. I'm just saying, Bam was dominant tonight. 31 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. The man was all over the place. 4 steals. We're going to get on the steals, man. We will get on the steals. But 31 points for him. He had nearly a 31-point triple-double for him tonight. He was just doing his thing. Next up, you got to look at the supporting cast. Because with no Jimmy, like I said, Jimmy had 8 points, but, he only played in the first half. PJ Tucker made a couple of nice plays here, a couple of nice threes. He was making a lot of great defensive plays. He also had a couple steals. PJ Tucker being our defensive leader, setting the tone, doing what he has to do. Absolutely love what PJ Tucker brought to the table. Max Strus, 16 points from him. Also, he was providing some presence defensively, so you got to love it from him. But Strus, like I said, made the clutch 3. 16 points from him tonight. He really showed up. We needed him to show up. He showed up. He showed out. He did what he needed to do. Then we got my main man. We got our quarterback. We got our point guard, Kyle Lowry. He gave you 11 points tonight. Now, did he shoot well? No. 4-11 from the field. 2 of 7 from 3. Did he shoot well? No. But what did he do? He controlled the ball. He controlled the pace that we were running our offense. He controlled the ball. He controlled the pace. He calmed us down, and he helped us do what we needed to do. In the first quarter, he was doing he was doing whatever. He was setting the tone. He was feeding the ball to Bam. He was letting Bam do whatever he wants, setting up Bam for easy dunk. It was beautiful. Kyle Lowry coming back was a huge positive presence for us. And people don't understand that. This guy controls the ball, he controls the pace, and he makes everybody's job easier. It makes it easier for Jimmy to just go out there and score because Jimmy doesn't have to control the ball. And of course, Jimmy goes out in the second half, and now it's just Kyle Lowry having to control the pace, control the offense, and that's exactly what Lowry did. So I'm glad he's back. We needed him back. I don't think we win this game if Kyle Lowry's not playing. So credit to him. Great job by him. Then there's one last player we got to talk about for tonight. Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo did not have a great shooting night. He didn't take a lot of shots. 1 of 4 from the field. He had 5 points. He didn't take a lot of shots. But Victor Oladipo in the second half, his defensive presence was so needed. One can argue he had the best defensive performance tonight. If you just look at how he was, he had the best defensive presence tonight. Victor Oladipo, even though he wasn't giving you a lot offensively, he was being such a huge factor in our defense in the second half. We don't win this game without Victor Oladipo because his defensive presence was gladly needed. We needed him. He also got 4 steals. 3 players had 4 steals tonight. Bam, Lowry, and Oladipo. Which leads me to my overall positive conclusion here. Miami had I'm not going to say franchise high, but a playoff high. They had a playoff high. 19 steals. 19 steals in a game. If you get 19 steals in a game, you're going to win that basketball game. That is fantastic defense. After embarrassing yourself in game 2, a pathetic defensive performance, you come out and put up a playoff high. 19 steals? My God. Fantastic defensive performance by this team. Fantastic defensive performance by our guys down the stretch. Closing it out, clutch baskets, clutch defensive plays. That's how you play Heat basketball. Now, there was really one negative I wanted to bring up, and that was Tyler Hero. I don't know what to do with Tyler Hero right now. Bam woke up, finally gave me something. But Tyler Hero has to figure himself out. 8 points on 4 of 15 shooting and 0 of 6 from 3. That's unacceptable. You were the 6th man of the year. I need something from you. Bam has stepped up and has finally showed me what I needed from him. It wasn't like he was shooting bad. He just needed to be aggressive. We saw aggressive Bam tonight. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Now Tyler Hero, at some point in the series, has to find his shot. If he can't find his shot, it's going to be difficult for him to be a factor. At some point, he's not going to get those high minutes. He only played 20 minutes tonight because, again, he's not a great defensive player. He's a defensive liability. So when he's not doing anything, guess what? Other guys got to step up into that role and play a factor. So because he wasn't really doing anything, Victor Oladipo was out there more than they probably wanted to put him out there tonight because they wanted to switch it up. Now that Lowry's back, you got to decrease Oladipo's minutes. But he ended up getting more minutes than they probably expected because Tyler Hero wasn't doing anything. And, of course, Strus is out there doing what he's doing. Our starters were just doing their thing. Victor Oladipo was a huge factor in tonight's win, and I just love what I saw from the Miami Heat overall. The only thing is I want to see Tyler Hero figure this out. He's got to get himself going because if he can't hit anything, he was missing open threes. Open threes! He's got to figure out his game. He's got to get his shot back in this series at some point. But great performance by the Miami Heat. As for the Boston Celtics, there's not much to say. This one's going to hurt them. This one's going to hurt them. This one is really going to hurt them. You get a 40-point performance from Jaylen Brown, and it's wasted. 40 points from Jaylen Brown, 20 points from Al Horford, 16 points from Marcus Smart. I don't know what to tell you. And all three of these guys were efficient from the field for the most part. But here's a difference maker. Jason Tatum, 3 of 14, 10 points. You can't have that. You can't have that. In a game where you hear that Miami's best player is missing and it's a 15-point lead, a 15-point game, and Miami's missing their best player, you got to take advantage of that. And Marcus Smart, he was making plays to try and set up Tatum, and Tatum just wasn't doing anything. He wasn't hitting anything. Marcus Smart was trying to set him up. They were trying to feed the ball and run plays with Tatum, and he was just missing and missing. He was either missing or he was turning the ball over. 6 turnovers for him today. He was bad. Yes, I know there was 7 turnovers from Jaylen Brown, but Tatum wasn't providing anything from you. You needed something from Tatum tonight. If they were going to pull off this comeback, Tatum needed to do something, and he didn't. And that was the difference maker. Well, that's the number 2 difference maker. The number 1 difference maker for them was the turnovers. 23 turnovers. Boston, 23 turnovers. You're not winning a basketball game if you turn the ball over 23 times. You had more turnovers than assists. When you have more turnovers than assists, guess what happens? You lose. You had 23 turnovers. Miami had 8. That was the difference maker. The steals they were getting and the turnovers you were causing. That was a difference maker. Boston, this one hurts. Because when Miami had all their starters healthy, they were up 26 against your main guys. You had your healthy starting 5. We had our, well, I mean, you were missing Robert Williams. But you had your guys, other than Robert Williams, everybody else was healthy for the Celtics. Meanwhile, for Miami, they had everybody as well. When everyone was pretty much damn near 100%, Miami was up 26. Jimmy Butler leaves. Marcus Smart starts getting it going offensively. Jaylen Brown explodes offensively. And guess what? You bring it to as close as a 1-point game. But at the end of the day, Miami's defense shuts you down the stretch. They kept forcing turnovers. They kept doing what they needed to do, and they kept making clutch shots. Bam had a clutch shot. Strus had the clutchest shot of the night. Kyle Lowry had a steal and a clutch layup. Like, you guys continue to turn the ball over. You turn the ball over like that, you're not going to win. So it just came down to that. It came down to great defense from Miami and terrible turnovers from Boston and a poor shooting night for Jason Tatum. A game that y'all probably could have won and maybe should have won since Miami was missing Jimmy Butler and you let it slip between your fingers. You went into Miami and stole home court advantage and you just gave it right back by allowing Miami to win on your home court. Now, you got to go find a way to win another game in Miami. But before that even happens, you have to find a way to defend home court now. You got to win game 4. If Miami takes a 3-1 lead, this series is over. This series is done in 5 or 6. If Miami takes a 3-1 lead, the series is done in 5 or 6 games. This will be a repeat or somewhat of a repeat of the bubble conference finals because Miami took a huge lead there. You forced it to a game 6 and then you just lost at home in 6. So, Boston, you have to find a way to tie this series in game 4. You have to find a way. Tonight was a pitiful loss. recover from it, come back stronger, and we'll see how these two teams go at it for game 4. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace!